Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here this morning. A lot of things on my mind always when it comes to we the people. And when I think I got something that's worthwhile, I want to share it with you. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You know, people say all the time, you've heard it at least, that you can get more bees or more flies if you use honey, sometimes other than stuff that honeys don't like. And they usually suggest that when you're trying to reach people, that you can be kind and nice to people, and people can understand and be drawn to what you're saying more so than if you're attacking them all the time. Well, we all know that there's a place and a time for all of that. We got children. We know there's a time to lift our kids up to praise them, and there's a time to say, hold it. We can't go that far. And so when you get to that point where you say you can't go that far, then it's time out for the bees, for the honey. It's time for a fly swat. and be very, very wise with its usage. You know, what I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We're going through some real stuff. And for me, I've been out there for 40 years spreading molasses and honey, and it has had no real effect. The truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, what people, and I find all across wherever I go, is people trying to idealize into reality that which leaves God out, and it doesn't work. Somewhere in the Bible, for those of you who follow the Bible and the Christian faith, they say that angels existed in heaven. And you know the ideal that we've been given about heaven. Heaven is that perfect place. Everybody want to die and go there. Well, they say they were already there. But that evilness, that spirit of division, that spirit of I'm better and we are better and we got to show it, manifests itself in heaven. And even the angels, who supposedly know more about God than any living source as far as we know, turned their back and rejected the message. Well, we know the story says that they were not allowed to stay there, so they had to get out. Now, the story takes us all from there to the Garden of Eden. The same thing happened. They knew, supposedly somebody knew what the path was to follow, and they themselves listened and went astray. And so here we are today in America. Look at us. Everybody knows we're astray. I'll just mention a few things. Our government, through the police force, kill people of color. I mean, even for no reason at all, basically because they're color. You got the system itself. It demoralizes people of color, takes away their rights, the right to have a voice in government. Try to set up a rule and say they do have a right, and then say they don't have a right. And then they got a Supreme Court that's supposed to be, I didn't know it, the ultimate law of the land. They can escape everything. They're not like the CIA or something like that, I don't guess. But they are actually above it. They don't have ethics or anything to guide them. They can do, so what happens when they go evil? Totally evil. Well, you know the end of that. So my message to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're at a crisis time. We're at a real crisis time, when all of those ugly things that I just been mentioning are happening right around us, and they are being motivated by all of us know is a lie. So we know what's running. Evil is taking control over the whole world, and now it is here in America. An America that, if America is fake, if America is a fake nation, I know America isn't perfect. I'm not trying to tell anybody that America should have been perfect. It would have been beautiful, but it's not. It's not perfect. But now the challenge here is, how unperfect are you? Because the challenge is to take you all out of here, to rob you of all of your God-given privileges. You know, when we think about a news report that China is taking everybody, put them in school, teaching them how to think like Chinese, teaching them what they want them to know about China, which means whatever lies they want to teach, just like everybody else teach their lies. They know how they want to embellish some, make them come out pretty good. Don't want to tell the hurting part. Well, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you know the truth, when you start feeling the hurting part. I realize that people in America have to struggle to do anything, because everything you got, everything you get, you got to pay for it. You got to pay for it. You got to pay for love. Everything. And if you got no money, what can you get? Jail, prison, jail. Because you got to do something, you're going to do something. And that little welfare, little handout which says, well, I want to pretend. Well, when we get to a point where now it seems as if you're trying to go and stand in the same old area that you've been standing in all the time, in the same area that allowed all of this chaos, the same area that allowed this evil to infiltrate this nation and take us apart, we still want to wrangle in that same old area of that system that we had that has already, it's evidence that it has failed. And there's not but one or two ways to go. Go with the evil or go with right. And when you go with right, you're going with God. When you go with right, you're going with truth. When you go with right, you're going with love. And love is, my friend, when you look up in the morning time and you see a situation and you don't worry about it because it's dealt with. When you look, for instance, many of you got kids today, and sometimes your kid maybe don't need anything, but you just want to help them. But then you're in a position that you can't. Why? Because of the system that we live under does not provide for things such as this. Why? Because it's evil. What system does? The system of love. I'm going to tell you, right now, yeah, I've been fussing. And I'm not throwing out any honey today. I'm not throwing out any honey. And if you don't like what I'm saying, I understand. I understand. A few years ago, there were a group of people. They call themselves the 99 percenters. Each of them had some problem, some dissatisfaction with the system, some dissatisfaction with the government. Nobody of this 99% was satisfied totally. Now, amongst these, I ask you, which complaint was more important than the other? Now, I'm sure we can start thinking based upon where we come from, how we've been indoctrinated. We can pick something out of there. But the truth of the matter is that every complaint to the one that's complaining is just as deep as any other complaint. So in actuality, there is no complaint better, a deeper, a more involved, a required priority than another. So if that's the case, how do you equate the situation so that everybody feel that they're being dealt with in a positive manner? Well, you have to, if you're smart enough, show each and every last one of them through one action that fixing one the proper way is fixing them all at the same time. Fixing one the proper way is fixing them all at the same time. Getting the screws right makes the thing run right. Now, if that's the problem, what am I saying? I'm saying to you, when this earth was made, I don't care what you've been taught. What you've been taught brought you here. But if you want a peace in your life, if you want prosperity in your life, if you want freedom in your life, if you want joy in your life, if you want your dreams to come true, you listen to what I'm telling you. The Creator, the spirit you can't see, can't touch, can't feel, created this earth. I told you, I try to tell you in every video. I got to tell you in this one as well. All the resources that you need to do anything you can ever imagine has already been given to this earth, this big womb earth. It has everything. It might be in the earth, it might be on the earth, it might be above the earth, it might be seen and it might be invisible. But we have been qualified to be able to do whatever is required to go into, to bring through our imagination and cause a manifestation of ideals. And then the gifts that have been given us individually allow us to participate in the creative process. We, my friends, have found now that whatever it is that we came on earth to do is that which is required of us. And in so doing it gives us our greatest joy. Other people out there working 2 and 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. because of a system that you live under. And then they get pissed off if you don't jump in there and try to help out and keep on following the same system. When somebody says there's a time for somebody to wake up and you're not going to wake up, but who is supposed to wake up? They say that the one that much is given is required to wake up. And I've been given some love. I've been through some stuff. And I came straight out of it. There's no challenge too great for me. God knows it. God knows it. God knows it. And that's why I've been given this here job, to stand before you and tell you that the hell that we're experiencing today is of your creation. It's of every religion in America. This hell that we're dealing in today is because of the failure of every religion in America. It's because of the failure of every teaching that comes from various groups in America. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's, that fits in. There's a lot of things that you can't deny, but the bull, the deceptive stuff, the stuff that keeps us divided. Now, my friends, you got to make sure that if you're following that power, that love, that truth, you and the things that you do takes care of all your problems. When you start thinking about what's over here to do, hey, the problem is already fixed. And people are fixing it, making sure that it's taken care of all the time. Doctors who do research, find out what's causing these problems, find cures. They don't know, we're out here working on machines, trying to make machines think. We're using our own brains to create our own everlasting bodies. My friends, this is living. This is living. This is the challenge that we have today. And if you can have those things met, your food, your clothing, your shelter, your education, your health care, and you participating in all of the things that's being done so that everything out there is free, and all of this is a community working together for a result that gives us what I just got through describing, you want to follow people like people in the world? You want to follow people that other folks are running from, taking their kids, jumping in water on inner tubes, trying to get away from? What kind of hell is that? Coming over to a country that they heard was a good country that would open the doors and say, hold it, you can't come in here. Oh no, see, we done got that evil. We never knew we would be that evil, that you would want to take babies away from their parents. We never knew that they would even contemplate putting moats and alligators and stuff there. Golly. And you want to be talked to with some honey? Let me tell you, what I'm telling you is good. But let me tell you what your God will allow you to do. Your God will allow you to reap exactly what you sow. If you keep on hating, if you keep on being racist and bigots and thinking that you are superior to other folks, if you keep on acting that thing out, there have been some terrible situations on the earth. You've heard of tsunamis. You've heard of Nagasaki, Hiroshima. You've heard of Vietnam. You've heard of all kind of disasters. You've heard of mountains, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and they just wipe out towns. You've heard of winds coming through, just knocking out. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, all kinds of things can happen, and that's nature. That's not black folks and white folks. That's not another nation. That's nature. Nature. These things happen because, why? Because we are not prepared for them. They're going to happen anyway. But the truth of the matter is, if we are walking the path of life, we don't care. These things got to do, they got work to do. But we are superior because we are the angelic host living in these bodies, doing angelic things. So we're not afraid of what nature can do. So this is what I'm talking to you about, ladies and gentlemen. If you keep on going on the way you're going. Now, right now, you are hearing on the news media, people talking about the Democrats not doing anything, Joe Biden not doing anything. They should be ashamed for letting that come out of their mouths, because if they are not Democrats, they're probably Republicans. You know what they've done. And if you're just sitting there listening, wondering, I figure how dumb can you be sitting there listening to some failed mouth sit them tell you about somebody else's failing. You dumb enough to sit there to listen to them dumb folks tell you that dumb stuff. But you have to do that. Why? Because you don't know God. What am I saying to you, ladies and gentlemen? I'm saying wake up. Wake up. There is a God, but you can't just say there's a God. What does it mean? If you can't honor God, then to you there is no God. Trump told you that. Trump said he want loyalty. If you can't get loyalty, then you don't, Trump ain't thinking about you. But God does give you another chance. Hey, Trump might, when you come back, I think that's what Trump does. When those guys make those mistakes to come back and apologize to Trump, he might take them back into the circle. But look, even when they come back in the circle, they got to prove themselves. They got to keep on being evil. They got to keep on lying. They got to keep on being bigots and acting like they hate. But see, that's how evil has control. Where is God's control? Sitting over here in this same old playing field when you know darn well it's not a fair field? That ain't God. That's a brainwashed evil group sitting over there under the influence of Satan. That's why I call it straight and narrow. Now, another reason why you can say it loud. Straight and narrow means individually. That ain't that big old Broadway. Everybody trying to hide behind everybody else. Well, you don't see me. It's us. No, stand up. Stand tall. Stand up. And they can see you one by one in your everlasting life if we're still here going through this strife, because the power of love will not allow you to exist instinct. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I offended you enough to make you think about something. Until next time, goodbye.